Dear students, welcome to today's class. Our today's concept is autoimmunity. So in our last few slides, we have studied regarding immunity and types of immunity. So now we have a clear idea regarding what is immunity and how it works in the body. So because of the immunity, so we have got protection against pathogen. So this protection is given by whom? Immune system. So immune system got an ability to identify which are the self cells and which are the foreign agents, because in the immune system few cells are present, so they will identify properly which are the self cells and which are the foreign agents. So only they will produce this weapon to destroy pathogens. So this is how normally our immune system works to protect our body completely against the pathogen. And now we have one more concept related to immunity, that is autoimmunity. So first you understand the meaning of words in this sentence. Auto is nothing but self, immunity is nothing but protection. So the protection against self, this is the actual meaning of autoimmunity. So let us briefly understand what is meant by this. Autoimmunity is not a normal behavior of immune system. So what we understood till now regarding the immune system is it will identify pathogens or foreign agents and it will destroy them. But in the autoimmunity, because of the misunderstanding of self cells as a foreign agents, our own body cells are get damaged by immune system. Yes, our own immune system identifies our own body cells as a foreign agents and it will destroy the cells by producing weapons. Clear, right? So this is not a normal behavior. So because of the abnormal behavior of the immune system, own body cells are identified as foreign cells and they are get destructed by the immune system. So because of this misunderstanding of the immune system, greater damage will be takes place to the body. That means it leads to disorder. So when the own body cells are get damaged by the immune system, it will lead to greater damage to the body. So the kind of disorders what are seen in the human because of this behavior is known as autoimmune disease. So autoimmune diseases are caused by identification of own body cells as a foreign agents by the immune system. So why our immune system identify own body cells as a foreign agent? So reason, it may be genetic or this reason is still unknown. Why actually the self cells are attacked by the immune system, this is still not identified. So because of unknown reason also, sometime our own immune system fail to work properly and it will finally lead to autoimmune diseases. Yes, the few of the diseases I have listed here, they are autoimmune diseases. One is rheumatoid arthritis. This is the best example of autoimmune disease. What is mean by this? Rheumatoid arthritis is chronic inflammation of joint. So in the joint region, there are some tissues are present. Those are identified as a foreign agent by the immune system, so that it will produce a weapon to destroy them and finally it leads to the greater damage to the particular region and finally it will lead to chronic inflammation of joints. And one more disease is Hashimoto disease. So Hashimoto disease is a chronic inflammation of thyroid glands. So the thyroid glands, some of the tissues in the thyroid glands are identified as a foreign agents by the immune system and it started damaging the tissues in the thyroid gland region, and finally it leads to hyperthyroidism. That means because of the inflammation of thyroid gland, it will finally leads to hyperthyroidism and it will imbalances the functions of thyroid gland. Over secretion will take place, so that the most of the body function related to the thyroid gland secretion will get imbalances. So these are the greater damages what we can understand in this concept. So because immune system in few people identifies own body cells as a foreign agents. So this is important concept of this lesson. So you have to understand autoimmunity, autoimmune disorders and examples of diseases. Next is immune system in the body. So as a human being, we have got wonderful system in our body to fight against disease causing organism. That means for giving immunity, our body require many organs. So all these organs together considered as human immune system. So the main motto of immune system is identification and destruction of pathogen. Yes, which are all the organs they are present in our body to form immune system. They are called as lymphoid organs, and this is the main part of our immune system. So apart from the lymphoid organs, immune system also consists of tissues, cells and antibodies. So all this together forming complete immune system. So out of these things, lymphoid organs are very essential organs because these organs are the place where the formation of lymphocytic cells takes place. So lymphocytic cells we have already seen in the last concepts, B lymphocytic cells and T lymphocytic cells. So without these cells our body cannot identify pathogen, it cannot destroy them. So lymphocytic cells are specialized cells. They are forming in the lymphoid organ. So not only formation, maturation of the lymphocytic cells and proliferation takes place in lymphoid organs. So that lymphoid organs are considered as a very essential part of immune system. So based on the function of lymphoid organs, they are divided into two types. As I told, many organs are comes under the lymphoid organs. So each organ perform its unique function. So based on the function of lymphoid organs, they are divided into two basic types. One is primary lymphoid organ and another one is secondary lymphoid organs. So under the primary lymphoid organs, we have bone marrow and thymus. So these two organs are performing a function, that is they helps in formation and maturation of lymphocyte. So these two are the places where the lymphocytic cells born and they will mature. So because of these two functions are performing in the bone marrow and thymus, they are considered as primary lymphoid organs. Then one more type is secondary lymphoid organs. So there are some organs in our body, in our immune system, they helps in interaction between lymphocytes and antigens. So in which actual organs lymphocytic cells come in contact with the antigen, those lymphoid organs are considered as secondary lymphoid organs. So there are many organs. We have spleen, lymph nodes, tonsils, Peyer's patches of small intestine and appendix. So these organs are secondary lymphoid organs. So that we have divided the lymphoid organs into two types based on the function. Clear? So there are two types, primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. This is the diagram of human immune system. In this diagram, you can see left side is showing primary lymphoid organs. So two organs are comes under this one, thymus and bone marrow. So why these two are belonging to primary lymphoid organs? Because they are the organs where the lymphocytic cells will born and they will mature and they will finally get ready to fight with the antigen. So these are the origin and maturation places of lymphocytic cells. And in the right side of the diagram, you can see secondary lymphoid organs and tissues. So there are a few examples: lymph nodes, then spleen, Peyer's patches of small intestine, then tonsils. So these are the few organs of secondary lymphoid organs. So these are the organs where actually interaction of lymphocyte takes place with the antigen. These organs are just like a battlefield. So because lymphocytic cells come in interaction with the antigen, that means they will fight against the antigen in these organs, so that they are considered as secondary lymphoid organs. Let us study the function of primary lymphoid organs in detail. So one of the organ belonging to this group is bone marrow. What is mean by bone marrow? Where it is located? So bone marrow is a spongy tissue. It is present in few bones of our body. So only few of the bones in our body, they consist of spongy tissue, that is nothing but bone marrow. So the basic function of this organ is it helps in the formation of all the blood cells. So WBC cells, RBC cells, platelets, they are all forming in the bone marrow. And including this, one more function is formation of lymphocyte. So lymphocytic cells are also forming in the bone marrow. So only few lymphocytic cells after their formation, they will retain within the bone marrow itself and they will become mature. So because they are get differentiated in the bone marrow, those specific lymphocytic cells are considered as B lymphocytic cells. So this is very important. So B lymphocytic cells formation takes place in the bone marrow. So these are the few functions what are performing by this primary lymphoid organ. Then one more organ is thymus. So thymus is a lobed organ. So there are two lobes are present in this organ. This is actually located near the heart and beneath the breastbone. So you can see in the diagram, this is the actual location of thymus. So the size of thymus is very large at the time of birth. In the childhood also, the size of thymus is very large, but it keep on reduces in size with age. So as we become old, the size of thymus is also get reduces. So in the puberty, the size of this organ comes to, that means it will reduces to very small, so that when the size is get reduces, the function of thymus is also get decreases. So in the childhood, it is very active in its function. As it is decreases in size, the function of the thymus is also get reduces. Then what is the function of this organ? So thymus is the place where the development and maturation of T lymphocytes takes place. So lymphocytes, as I told, they form in the bone marrow. So few lymphocytic cells, after their formation, they will migrate towards the thymus from bone marrow and they will get differentiated in the thymus. So because they will develop and mature in the thymus, those lymphocytic cells are called as T lymphocytes. Clear? So B lymphocytes, they will form in bone marrow. T lymphocytes, they will form in thymus. Understood, right? So only based on where the lymphocytes get mature, we have divided them into B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. So T lymphocytes, they will mature in thymus. B lymphocytes, they will mature in bone marrow. So these are the few functions of bone marrow and thymus. They are very essential so that they are considered as primary lymphoid organs. Let us study secondary lymphoid organs. So these are the organs where lymphocytes interact with antigens. So there are few organs are present. They are belonging to the secondary lymphoid organs. One is spleen. So it is a large bean-shaped organ. So this organ is located towards the left part of our abdomen. So towards the upper abdominal region, this organ is located. The function of this organ is it acts as a filter for blood-borne microorganisms. So whenever the blood passes through the spleen, it will trap most of the microorganisms so that pathogens are get trapped here itself. So this is the main function of spleen. And one more function is it acts as a reservoir of erythrocytes. So erythrocytes are nothing but RBC cells. So RBC cells are get stored in this organ so that the spleen is called as the largest reservoir of erythrocytes. So these are the few functions of spleen. Then one more organ is lymph nodes. So lymph nodes are small solid structures. You can look into the picture in the last slide. These are the small solid structure. They are located at different part of the body. So along the lymphatic system. So lymphatic system, what is the function of lymphatic system? So lymphatic system helps in carrying lymph throughout the body. So lymph is a kind of fluid. Same like a blood, one more fluid is there in our body, that is lymph. So lymphatic system will carry lymph throughout the body. So for that, it is having lymphatic vessels. So along the lymphatic vessels on certain regions, these solid structures will be located so that the lymph nodes are distributed throughout different part of our body wherever the requirement is there. So what is the function of lymph nodes? Why they are present in different locations along the lymphatic vessels? So their main function is they will trap the microbes from lymph. So whenever the lymph passes through the lymphatic vessel, so the microbe present in that fluid is get trapped by these nodes. And tissue fluids, the pathogen present in the tissue fluid also get trapped by this nodal structure. Then one more organ is lymphoid tissues. So lymphoid tissues are located within the lining of major tracts like respiratory tract, digestive and urogenital tracts consist of these tissues. So lymphoid tissues present in these organs are called as mucosal associated lymphoid tissues. So abbreviated form is MALT. So MALT is the abbreviated form of mucosa associated lymphoid tissues. So in all these tracts, these tissues lining will be present. So whenever pathogen is come in contact with this specialized tissue, they will trap them and they will stimulate the lymphocytic cells. So when the lymphocytic cells are stimulated by the pathogen, it will show a kind of response in the immune system. So this is how the lymphoid tissue perform work as a secondary lymphoid organ. Yes, next organ is tonsils. So tonsils are pair of organs. So they are very soft tissue lumps. So these tissue lumps are a part of respiratory system. So you can see in the diagram. So there are two pair of structures are present. So they are in the throat region. So whenever we inhale air, initially the germs and dust particles are trapped through the nasal passage. So some of the pathogen they will escape from the nasal passage and they will enter into the throat region. So in that region, for trapping the pathogen, we have organs. They are nothing but tonsils. So tonsils will trap the germs from the throat region so that they will prevent the infection caused by pathogens in the respiratory system. So being a part of respiratory system, tonsils are effectively performing their function. So the function of tonsil is nothing but they will trap the germs which might have inhaled by a person. Then one more organ is Peyer's patches of small intestine. So what is mean by Peyer's patches? So patches are nothing but small mass of tissues. So these patches of tissues are present in the small intestine. So small intestine will helps in digestion as well as absorption of the food material. So in the ileum region of small intestine, so these Peyer's patches will be located. You look into the diagram. In this you can see some mass of tissues. So these mass of tissues are nothing but Peyer's patches. So when the pathogen they will come in contact with the Peyer's patches, they will trap them and they will prevent the further infection caused by the pathogen in that particular organ. So that in the small intestinal region, the infection caused by the pathogen is somehow prevented by the Peyer's patches because they help in trapping of the pathogen in the small intestinal region. So these are the few organs we are studied under the secondary lymphoid organ. So one thing you notice in all the organ, secondary lymphoid organ, so they will help in trapping of germs. So whenever the germs are trapped by this organ, they will stimulate the lymphocytes. So when the stimulation of lymphocytes occur, they will show a kind of immune response. So that these are the organs, secondary lymphoid organs, where the lymphocytes will interact with antigen and they will stimulate the kind of immune response.